Not every conversation needs to be loud. Not every disagreement needs to become hostile. And not every man is interested in spectacle. The Society of Ordinary Gentlemen exists for those who believe that courtesy still matters, that restraint is a strength, and that how one conducts himself, especially when it is inconvenient, is a measure of character. This is not a platform for self-promotion. It is a place for thoughtful discussion, mutual respect, and personal accountability. The Society of Ordinary Gentlemen is an online community with the mission of cultivating modern gentlemen by teaching skills, habits, and mindsets that elevate personal style, communication, health, and lifestyle through community, courses, and mentorship. Membership is open to adults willing to uphold these standards.
Hello and welcome to the Gentleman's Forum. My name is Anthony Bunton and I am the host of the Gentleman's Forum that is brought to you by the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen. And it is indeed an honor to be with you today to discuss the gentleman's art of speech. And we are going to make several podcasts concerning this because I think it is a subject that needs to be brought out and discussed, not just about what we say, but how we say it. And we also want to discuss how the modern technology, as everything has become digital, and how this affects our ability to communicate with other people. So we're going to discuss the gentleman's art of speech and today's Gentleman's Forum. Let's get started. I want to start by saying that the gentleman's art of speech is a blend of clarity, respect, and presence to communicate with impact and integrity, not just about eloquence, but it's also about how we choose our words, how we deliver them, and how we connect with other people. And so we're going to get into a series of podcasts concerning the gentleman's art of speech. We're going to talk about the core principles. We're going to talk about how to choose your words wisely. We're going to talk about being an active listener. We're going to talk about the public speech craft. We're going to get into elegance and etiquette, and we're going to talk about practical tips for delivering of your communication to somebody. And so this is very important because when you look at the overall aspect of communication and how it affects things, I mean, we can go back hundreds of years. There have been disputes, there have been wars, there have been deaths, and all has to do with how somebody communicates with another person. And even if we were to come back into today's modern terms, is whether it's in a work environment, personal relationships, how we communicate with other people and what we say and what we do. One of the things that is a big thing, and we see this a lot, is the words that we speak. And today, more so with the younger generation, they use a lot of slang terms. They use a lot of abbreviated terms. And this right here is what creates a lot of problems in communication. Another aspect of this would be also that a lot of people would not physically talk to somebody. They will rather send them a text. They rather email them. And the reason being is because when they do that, you're kind of more or less hiding behind a cloak, if you will, of communication, because you are no longer one-on-one with this person face to face. So it's easier to say something harsh, say something cruel, say something inappropriate when you are in the process of texting or your process of emailing somebody. But the reality is sometimes we respond to a situation through a text or through an email. And when we do this, we're doing it out of anger. And then we end up sending it. And then after we sent it and it's already out there, it's too late to retrieve it. It's too late to change it. And this has been a issue that I've seen a lot of people deal with. And so we're going to get into a lot of these things. But we want to start with the core principles of how we handle situations, how we deal with things. And we sit there and we talk to people and we don't realize that a lot of times we say things that are repetition. We say things that are slang terminology. I shared this on another podcast that a lot of people say that English is the hardest language to learn. I grew up, my dad was in the military, we traveled a lot, and one of the places we were was overseas in Japan. And as a teenager, learning Japanese, it was fun, but I always thought that it was difficult. I thought it was hard to pronounce and to say things. But also, as I got into the um, mode of learning things and learning languages and stuff. And then as I got older and I went into the military myself and I went to places like Germany, Saudi Arabia, I still found it difficult for me to understand and to pronunciate certain things in other languages. But one thing that I found out in every situation is that all these different countries that I've been to, all these different places I've been to, everybody says that English is the hardest language to learn. And reason being is because we have a lot of slang terms for things that we do, things that we say. We have words that have more than one meaning. So therefore it's harder for somebody that's trying to pick up the English language. And one thing that we have an issue and which what I'm seeing more of is the miscommunication because of a language barrier that we create through our communication, especially when it comes to the younger generation. And you'll find out that you'll see a lot of people that will repeat things that they hear from other people. It becomes the norm. And I had to really look at this because even myself, and I'll share this with you, growing up as a young man, even as a child, I had a speech impediment and I had to learn to deal with that. I still have it today. It's not as prevalent as it was when I was a child because I've learned how to deal with it. I've learned how to overcome it. I shouldn't say overcome it, but overcome the fear and the anxiety of having to talk to somebody. Because when I was growing up and I had a bad speech impediment, I didn't want to read in classrooms. I didn't want to talk in public, as to a group of people. So I look back now and I would have never thought when I was a child or when I was a teenager that number one, I'd be doing a podcast, talking to thousands of people through media. I would have never thought that I would be a instructor in the United States Army teaching combat life saving to 200 and 300 soldiers at a time. I never thought that I would be a minister in a pulpit preaching to hundreds of parishioners. So back then, I would never thought that this stuff was possible because I was a person that had a speech impediment and was mindful to the point where I was intimidated by wanting to speak out loud. Now, even now, I try to deal with these things, and I know a lot of it has to deal with anxiety and nervousness and things like this. But one thing I've noticed, and I really didn't pick this up until I started doing podcasting, going back and editing these podcast shows, because when I do it, I can see the transcript of not just what I'm saying, or hear what I'm saying, but the words that are being said. And I realized that there are certain words that I would repeat 2 or 3 times, or there was a fillers I would use like, and, like. I never realized that I was doing this until I started editing my podcast. And so now that I've done this and now that I see this, I am working on how I communicate. I'm trying to avoid saying an or like or because I'm aware of it now. And I know that a lot of it has to do with, again, the medical issue that I have of speech impediment, which is never going to go away, but I can learn how to control it to an extent. I can learn how to minimize the frequency of it. But again, it goes back to how I deal with it with anxiety, nervousness, things like that can trigger my speech impediment. So I had to learn, I am learning how to deal with this. But I'm also learning that I need to be careful of how I repeat things. Sometimes I might say words 2 or 3 times, or I might use filler words. So I've also noticed that when you talk to people, you'll see a lot of people will say certain things like, and this is one thing that I hear quite a bit. People will be talking, they'll be describing something, they'll say, well, this, that, and the third, or this, that, and the other, instead of saying what they mean. And it's a slang term of this, that, and the other, or this, that, and the third. But what does it really mean? And when we talk like this, we don't understand that a lot of times people get to the point where they start tuning you out because they start thinking that you're not saying anything of value, anything of worth. So how we communicate and how we say things is very important. We hear of a lot of young people will say things like this, that, and the third, or this, that, and the other, like, or, different things. And it has become so fluent that it's kind of ironic and kind of funny because you can listen to a group of teenagers or young adults talking, and you'll hear those same words being repeated within that group in a conversation. They'll say things like, um, "Oh my God," or this, that, and the third, or you know, all these different phrases that they have become their repertoire of conversation pieces. And when you listen to it, you're in your mind, you're thinking, what are they talking about? What is the point of the conversation? Because you've already started tuning them out. And I find myself a lot of times when I have to deal with somebody and I'm listening to a conversation and I started hearing this, it almost becomes to like a mind numbing state to where I literally start tuning out. And then I start realizing as I started doing the podcast and stuff and dealing with communications, I began to wonder how many times have I've caused people to tune me out into what I'm saying. And so I'm in the process, and that's what I like about the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen. This is what I like about the Gentleman's Forum, because as we discuss these things, it's helping me too. It's helping me become mindful. So when we start talking about how we communicate with people, we want to make sure that, we are being clear and decisive, but also at the same time, there's certain etiquette things that we do that we want to be mindful of so we can keep people engaged in what we have to say so they will be more apt to want to listen to what we have to say. And one thing that I found out, and I see a lot of this happening, and gentlemen, please, I want to discuss this because I think it's important, is we become so reliant on our cell phones that even when we're talking, I've seen people all the time that will have their phone on speaker and they're around other people. They're just holding this conversation. Gentlemen, nobody wants to hear your conversation with somebody else. And not only that, but when you're discussing things with somebody on the other end, and you got a speakerphone, you're putting all their business, this whole conversation is being broadcasted to everybody standing around. I see this so much. I hear about this all the time. Just to give an example, I was in a Walmart one time. I was on an aisle where the cosmetics and deodorants and all this stuff was, and there was a young lady came down the aisle where I was looking for whatever she was looking for. It turned out that she was looking for a female product for a female issue or some type of rash or something. And the reason I say that is because she was having this conversation with this other girl on the phone. She has on speaker. So she's saying things like, well, you know, this one says it's for itching and discharge. And the whole time I'm going, oh my gosh, why are you discussing this on a speakerphone? And I'm hearing all this other person, the other end's personal business. Yes, I don't know who that person is, and didn't see her face, but the mere fact that I was embarrassed because I'm listening to this girl tell her this other girl's personal business out in public. And so I was trying my best to hurry up and get off of that aisle because I didn't want to hear this conversation. I didn't even want to look at the girl because I didn't even want to know who she was having this conversation. Another time I was somewhere and I was in line, and there was another person in front of me, another female. And she was two or three people in front of me, but she's on a cell phone. And I don't know if she's having an argument with her boyfriend or it was another guy. But anyway, they were having this argument on the phone and she got on speakerphone. And we're all in line. So it's like, several people in line and they're having this argument and everybody's listening to it. And so finally, another lady says, "Excuse me, can you please take that off speaker um, and have your conversation somewhere else?" This girl turns around and proceeds to go off on her. She's telling her, you need to mind your business and everybody wants to get in my business. I'm sitting there going, well, then quit putting your business out there because I'm already on season 2 of your family's mess that I didn't want to hear in the first place. Now, this might seem funny, but the reality is that was a conversation that none of us in that line needed to hear. And so the communication that was going on, and you can tell because the words that are being spoken is ones that, probably if she was face to face with this person might not have even said these type of words and stuff. And maybe she had them. I don't know. But the reality is it made everybody around feel uncomfortable. So gentlemen, if if you are having a conversation with somebody, number one, don't put it on speaker. Talk to this person, put your phone up to your ears and have a conversation. Number two, if you are in a discussion and it's going to be an argument, whatever, take that phone to a secluded area, a quiet area where there's no one around you, and you can have whatever conversation you want. But it's a matter of not just being respectful to the person other than that phone, but it's also a matter of being respectful to the people that are around you. Nobody wants to hear your family's drama or your girlfriend's drama or whatever. So these are some of the things that we need to discuss and we need to improve on as gentlemen is our how we talk to people, our communication at first. Because again, as I was saying before, when I'm talking and I realize that I'm saying repetitive words or saying things, I wonder how many people have tuned me out in the conversation that I'm having. Are they listening to me? So I'm trying to be mindful of what I say, how I say it, because I want what I'm saying to be important and for that person to want to listen. So we're going to get into a lot of these things about how we talk to people, how we communicate with people. We're going to get into more of less talking through text messages, through emails, more of how we talk to somebody face to face, how we communicate face to face, how we can get our point across, how we can keep the person that we're talking to involved in the conversation and not their minds start to wander. Because I'll be honest with you, there have been many a times when I've had to talk to somebody, as they start talking, they start throwing out curse words, and every other word is a curse word. And I've literally found myself that I have literally tuned them out, and I start thinking about other things. Um, you know, did I check that email? Did I respond to this? When my next appointment is? What are we going to have for dinner tonight? Do I need to stop off at the store? My mind has started to wander, and I have completely lost the conversation, the person that was talking. Why? Because I didn't want to hear all this curse words and all these things that are going on. So I've tuned them out. And then what happens is they'll turn around and say, well, don't you have something to say? And I'm like, about what? Because I've literally tuned them out. Now we just escalated this discussion into an argument because they're offended because they feel like I'm not paying attention to them. And actually I wasn't, because I have literally tuned them out because I didn't want to hear what they had to say. I'm not saying that it's right. What I'm saying is, as humans and as a person, we tend to tune people out when they're saying something that we feel not of value or something that we just don't want to hear. And I'm trying to get better at being more listening, because what happens is that when that person starts being rude or starting an argument and everything, you start shutting yourself down and you start preparing your defense. How you're going to respond to those first couple words that were said. So those the first couple words that were said, you no longer are listening to anything after that. You've already started building your defense, building your response to first couple words, and they might have came back and apologized a couple of sentences later, but you've no longer heard that because you are still stuck on those first couple words that were being said, and you already start building a defense or building a response to react to what was being said. And I'm trying now to work on myself to learn to listen to respond and not listen to react. Because when you listen to react, then you have already cut off that conversation, or you have already stopped the listening to what they're saying, and you started forming a defense or response. And so this is part of the communication aspect of not just listening, but how we communicate and how we respond to situations. And I wanted to get more into this as we start this segment of the gentleman art of speech, because we're going to dive down more into how we talk, the clarity that we're speaking, the volume of our material that we're talking about. We're going to talk about how we can be more courteous in what we say, how we choose our words wisely, how we become an active listener, as I was just explaining. So we're going to get into all this in the next couple of issues. So I hope that you continue to listen. And if you want more understanding on being a gentleman and what it takes to live like a gentleman, I want to invite you to go to the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen. It is a phenomenal group of gentlemen that not just dress as gentlemen in style and clothing, but these are men that are living like gentlemen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They are a society of men that have a wealth of knowledge. And if you're just starting this journey, or maybe you're on this journey already, you want to expound and grow in this journey, because when you get on this journey, there is no ending point. When you reach the end, you've also reached the end of your life. As a gentleman, we are constantly growing, we're constantly evolving, and we're constantly learning things. And so this Society of Ordinary Gentlemen is a great group of guys, and we'll discuss all kind of things, even as far as fragrances of colognes and stuff. One of the things that we talk about is a good sponsor of the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen in this podcast is Carolina Best. They have a phenomenal website. You can get they have over 400 different fragrances, men and women. They have soaps, they have body washes, and with all the most popular brands of fragrances, for gentlemen like Creed Aventus, uh, for women like Valentino. They have all kinds. They are so much refreshing, and I mean, when you put them on, they last for a long period of time. It's not just oil, alcohol based where it dissipates. These fragrances, these colognes, these perfumes have such a high concentration of oils that they literally last all day and into the evening. It is a phenomenal place to get quality fragrances at a discounted price. And when I mean discount, I'm not saying cheap. I'm talking about from what you would normally pay. As it's Carolina Best, and they have a website, www.carolinabest.com. I tell you, I learned this when I started becoming just a gentleman and on this journey, and I've shared it with a lot of people on the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen about this place. And this is just some things that we talked about. The Society of Ordinary Gentlemen is a free website. They have a place called the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen. It's through School, SKOOL. Go on there, and click on search for Society of Ordinary Gentlemen. You can join up there. You can go to the society website, www.beagentleman.org. And because all this is what helps us get the word out. It helps us engage in conversations and help young men and older men get back to get back to the nostalgics of being gentlemen. And we are so blessed that we are partnering with the site of Ordinary Gentlemen. I mean, we are literally broadcasting on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music. We're on YouTube. You can go to the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen YouTube channel. You can go to my channel at of the Modern Gentleman. You can go to Deezer online, and you can hear all these podcasts. If you can listen to them. You can go to YouTube and see the actual video of these podcasts. All this is to help men become gentlemen, help them grow to be the gentlemen and the best version of themselves that they can be. And I encourage you and I challenge you to be the best version that you can. And if you want to know how to do it and you want some insight and you want to fellowship and get to know other gentlemen, the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen, I'm telling you, it's the best place. And the thing about it is a free membership. They do take donations, and because the donations is what helps fund this. When somebody donates to the society, all money that comes in goes direct to the society. There is nobody in that society. They have a constitution. They have a board of directors. Nobody is getting paid. Their board of directors are strictly volunteers. All the funding that comes in goes to help fund the society. That allows them to host conferences, local meetings. That helps them do training materials. They are a nonprofit organization, which they actually can help other people, and especially during natural disasters or emergencies and things. So all the money that comes into the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen goes strictly back into the society to help people and to better the benefit of gentlemen becoming gentlemen. And so it's a free website, it's a free membership. And when you join, if you go to www.beagentleman.org, and at the top it'll say join, or you can go to the internet, type in KOOL. When you get in there, search the site of Ordinary Gentleman. Now, it is a private community, and it's private not because they police people, it's private because they only want people that are interested in becoming gentlemen. This keeps out the scammers. This keeps out the bots. This keeps out those that want to come in just to promote personal businesses. What they want are real men that are sincere about becoming gentlemen. They are so dedicated that they are getting ready to start a junior society of ordinary gentlemen for young men ages 14 to 18 to help groom them into becoming gentlemen. And that way, when they do become of legal age 18, they can transfer over to the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen. There are also in the works of creating a ladies' society of ordinary ladies for ladies. And all this is coming through the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen. So when you get in there, there's a couple questions they're going to ask you. Like I said, this is just to determine if you're not a scammer or you're a bot or you had their personal gains. But then once you get in there, they are a phenomenal group. Now, they do require certain things to be active, and I'm not talking about monetarily. I'm talking about uh, there's certain requirements that the school society and the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen have in order to help ensure that people are not scamming. And it's not difficult. It's just a matter of just being active and engaging in the society. But I'm telling you, it is a great place to be. It's a great place to meet people. It's a great place to grow and to fine tune your lifestyle as a gentleman. A lot of men there, a lot of knowledge. And I mean, not just here in the United States, we have members in Australia and Japan, Egypt, all over. And the great thing is they have live video lounges where you can go in and you can meet all these gentlemen all across the world. They have some awesome discussions about different things about fashion, about style, about fragrances, different topics on being a gentleman. They have a magazine called the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen that comes out. You can get online. They have a gentleman's marketplace. You can actually go to the gentleman marketplace. You can get signet rings like this one right here. You can get cufflinks. You can get ties and all these things. And the best thing about the gentleman's market is that all the money that comes in goes right back into society. There is nobody they're making a profit off of them. All money go right back into to the society so we can better help promote the lifestyle of being a gentleman so we can help educate and train men so we can help charities and different things. So I encourage you, go to the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen, check it out. If you join, let them know that you heard about this through the Gentleman's Podcast, and let me know that you got on. I look forward to fellowshipping with you. I look forward to talking to you and sharing the journey of being a gentleman. We're going to get back on this on the next episode. We're going to talk about the core principles of the art of being a gentleman and the speech. And it's going to be an exciting time. It's going to be a time of being informed, learning, and growing. And I encourage you and I challenge you each and every day to be the best version of yourself that you could be as a gentleman. I look forward to seeing you again on the Gentleman's Forum. Take care and be blessed.